It's game time. And if you've got a hunch about this NBA season, you could turn it into a big win on FanDuel. Because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win.
Ooh, that guy's hotter than a microwave burrito.
Now that's a red hot hunch.
21 plus and present in Virginia. Must be first online real money wager. $5 deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets that expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
From your favorite source for Chicago White Sox talk, delivering news, interviews, analysis, and more. This is the Sox Machine Podcast with your hosts, Jim Margulis and Josh Nelson.
Thanks, Rob, and welcome to a special edition Sox Machine Podcast. I'm Josh Nelson. What you will be listening to is our recording of the live podcast that we had at the Ramova Theater for the 2025 Opening Day Eve show. In this podcast, you will be listening to Jim Callis of MLB.com as he and I talk about the White Sox prospects and who to look forward to in the 2025 season. Also joining me will be Courtney Finnicum from Baseball Isn't Boring. She stole the show last year with her segment, and she's very entertaining, does great work. You can check out her podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. She just recently interviewed old friend Dylan Cease, and I have a surprise for her as she's very big into brunch. I challenged her and to find a chef in the area in Bridgeport, and luckily Chef Kevin Hickey of the Duck Inn and Ramova Grill stepped up, and we talk about what brunch could be at a baseball stadium. So enjoy this recording of the live Opening Day Eve show at the Ramova Theater.
This gets us going as far as starting our show, and a very special guest to join us. You've seen him on MLB Network. You read his work for years on MLB.com and Baseball America. The biggest thing about the White Sox in 2025, just like previous rebuilds, is the prospects of how they are doing and who should I be watching and paying attention to. So I'm very excited that he's joined us here tonight at the Ramova Theater. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jim Callis of MLB.com. So Jim, welcome to Ramova. Welcome to the live show. So with it being opening day tomorrow, do you have any opening day traditions? Do you still get excited for opening day?
I do, but I don't know that I have a tradition. It's funny, I really want to get started on my draft calls. Even though tomorrow's opening day, I think I'm going to make my first draft call of the new year. We're done with all our prospect rankings, spring training and everything. So I'll be making draft calls and keeping an eye on it.
Okay, so Jim always hard at work with the draft and the prospect rankings. When it comes to the White Sox farm system, as you can see behind me, the top 10 prospects from MLB.com for the Chicago White Sox. The names that are in gold are the White Sox top 100 prospects, and of course it starts with the local kid, Noah Schultz, followed by the White Sox recently acquiring Kyle Teal. But Jim, I wanted to ask you about Colson Montgomery. We do not know who the opening day shortstop is, who's going to be starting tomorrow. And we'll talk about that later during the live show. But what do you make of Colson Montgomery not making the opening day roster and starting in Charlotte?
I kind of like the move, to be honest with you. You and I have talked a number of times on the podcast about him. As much as I like Colson as a prospect, he hasn't really hit that well in AA or AAA. Like most of his better numbers were put up in the lower minors. Last year, frankly, he had a bad year. He kind of redeemed himself in September. He was good for 2 weeks in Arizona Fall League. But it's not like Colson, and we know Charlotte's a great place to hit. It's not like Colson went out last year and hit 280 with 25 homers to Charlotte. He's clearly ready. I kind of like the idea of making him earn it. You do have the added benefit of by delaying his service time clock, you delay his free agency year. They aren't going to win this year. It doesn't matter if he's up now or in May or if we play games with the Super 2 or whatever. But I actually think, just from a straight development standpoint, it makes sense. Let him prove he can hit AAA pitching consistently. Rather than, what if you put him in the big leagues? 4 on the list now. He has not torn up AA or AAA, really.
Yeah, I think we're going to see Jacob Amaya tomorrow as the opening day shortstop for the White Sox. I was hoping that Colson would beat him out because it adds some more excitement coming into this season. But when you look at the White Sox entire farm system now, Jim, obviously the Garrett Crochet trade helps a great deal from the winter meetings. What's the overall health system for the White Sox right now with their farm system? Are they in a better spot? Are they in a good shape, in your opinion?
They are in good shape. I mean, what I like about the White Sox farm system, I think we have them ranked 6th, right, in our latest farm system rankings, is it's a nice balance. It's not, hey, it's a bunch of pitchers and there aren't hitters. Or, you know, you have guys in A-ball, but they aren't close to the big leagues. They have a lot of guys who've had success in the minors, have had success at least the middle levels of the minors. It's high upside guys. I mean, we highlighted the 6 guys in gold are top 100 prospects. There's only 2 teams with more top 100 prospects than the White Sox right now. They've added depth with the trades. You know, I think they need more. But you can look at, you know, the thing about prospects, they don't always all pan out. Like I have to tell you, Juan Moncada didn't become the best player in baseball.
Jim, Eloy Jimenez didn't even make the Tampa Bay Rays.
Yeah, I know. I don't think Eloy works too hard, as we all think he works. It's part of the problem. But anyway, they won't all make it. You have enough depth here that if 1 or 2 of these guys don't, 4 of these guys do, and the hit rate on top 100 prospects is generally pretty good.
Yeah.
You have a nice nucleus you can build a contender around.
So, looking at number 1 and looking at number 3 on the board, the 2 lefties, Noah Schultz and Hagen Smith. James Fegan for us at Sox Machine reported that Schultz and Smith are going to be in the same rotation in Birmingham. MLB.com, you guys have these as the top 2 left-handed pitchers because of the White Sox past experience with left-handed pitchers. Chris Sale, Garrett Crochet, to a certain extent, Jose Quintana. Are you confident that they're going to pan out because they're within the White Sox farm system?
Yeah, I mean, I think even if they weren't, I'd be fairly confident. I mean, I think you can make a case. You could argue Noah Schultz is the best pitching prospect, lefty or righty, in baseball. But I think you feel good about their talent. You feel good looking at the Sox track record. I mean, Noah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, we were talking beforehand. If he doesn't sign, he'd be a junior right now in Vanderbilt.
Yep.
And I'm not so sure he couldn't pitch in the big leagues today. I think he has enough stuff to get by. I'm not saying he'd be dominant right now. But the guy has maybe the best slider in the minor leagues. He has pretty good fastball that commands well. It's more of a ground ball pitch than a swing and miss pitch. He actually has advanced feel for a changeup. But for a guy who's 21 years old, who's that big and left-handed, it's amazing control of command. So I feel like there's no real weakness here. I mean, the one thing I guess you wanted the fastball maybe to miss more bats. Maybe he goes to more of a four-seamer. I know they like the way the sinker plays off the slider. And Hagen Smith, same thing. I mean, you're talking about some of the best stuff in the minors. His slider isn't that much worse than Noah's. It's a well above average pitch. I think he's got a little bit more velocity, a little bit more swing and miss than the fastball. He's not quite as polished with the changeup and the strike throwing, but I mean, he's coming off. He just struck out more batters per 9 innings than any pitcher ever in NCAA history. So yeah, I think both those guys, you feel good about their talent and the White Sox ability to develop lefties. It'll be interesting because I do think there's a scenario where they're both ready for the White Sox this year. You call them up later in the year, you make them wait till next year. Because again, it's this weird year where we know the White Sox aren't contending, so you don't really need to rush guys or start their service time clock ticking.
So with Noah Schultz being 6'10", I think in the history of Major League Baseball, only 2 pitchers that tall have had what we would call a productive career. And of course, Randy Johnson is the comp that is made. Is that too high of a bar? Like, should we be careful with that comp with Noah Schultz?
Yeah, you can answer that question either way. Like, yes, on one hand,
he's Randy Johnson. Awesome, let's go.
Like, Randy Johnson might be the best lefty of all time. Like, yes. Like you could make that argument.
And that's what Jim Callis is saying, White Sox fans. Noah Schultz will be the greatest left-handed pitcher of all time.
So, like, yes, if you're going to bet the over-under, you're going to bet the under on that. But,
oh, come on!
But, no, I would say this, though. The flip side that makes it interesting, if you look at Randy Johnson when he was this age, when he was a junior at Southern Cal, he was terrible. He had an ERA over 5. He couldn't throw strikes. I mean, and not only was he missing badly. And And so, I mean, at the same stage of their careers, Noah Schultz is much more advanced than Randy Johnson. Like, he doesn't throw as hard, he doesn't swing as fastball, but again, I'm not going to say he's going to be the greatest lefty of all time, but if you were scouting these two guys when they were 21 years old, you would clearly prefer Noah Schultz. It wouldn't be. I don't think it'd be close.
All right, so he's ahead on the timeline. That's good. White Sox coaches and front office staff during spring training quickly, Jim, fell in love with Kyle Teal, which the White Sox acquired from the Boston Red Sox as the headliner in the Garrett Crochet trade. I wonder how close or how competitive it was with the catching spots if Teal almost made the opening day roster this year, but the expectation is at some point we're going to see Kyle Teal in the major leagues. What do you make of Kyle Teal? And on your top 30, he's number 2 on the list, so he is the best position player the White Sox have prospect-wise?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty confident in saying that. I think, it's interesting. I mean, again, you look at the White Sox, he's probably their best catcher. Do I think Kyle Teal's do a better job than Corey Lee and who's the backup?
Matt Thaiss.
Matt Thaiss, yes. I think Kyle Teal's better than those guys. He can catch right now. But again, I mean, there's no need to rush these guys. There's strategic reasons to maybe keep him in the minors for a little bit. But yeah, I think his floor might stick out a little bit more than his ceiling. I don't know that we're going to get 325 homers gold glove from Kyle Teal.
Jim, how many catchers hit 300 and hit 25?
But I mean, he's ranked pretty highly. But what I'm saying is I think there's a pretty good floor where he's going to hit 270 and give you 15 to 20 homers, be a solid defender behind the plate. And I think there's a big, I'd be very surprised if he's much worse than that. So I think he probably comes, of all these guys on here, he probably has the high, given that pitchers are volatile, I think he's got clearly the highest floor on this list.
Can he be as productive as A.J. Brzezinski? Because for White Sox fans, A.J. on the catching side is still the standard. While A.J. wasn't all that great defensively, you can count on him offensively. And boy, this White Sox team needs some offense. Can Kyle Teal be that type of impact bat, even though he is a catcher?
Yeah, I like that parallel for a number of reasons. I think, yes, he can have that kind of bat. I think his offense is ahead of his defense. If you talk to the White Sox, they'll tell you, I mean, Kyle's really athletic. And so he didn't catch a lot in high school. And so he has less catching experience. I guess he's, 20, going on 23 now. He has less catching experience than your typical 23-year-old catcher on the verge of the big leagues does. So I think there's room for him to get better. And he did make some progress last year. I do think the offense will always be better than the defense. I don't know that he's going to be a gold glover. I think he probably could be slightly better defensively than AJ. I think he could be a little bit like that. That would be the goal. You can see him attaining that. And I kind of like that parallel you draw because when I think AJ Brzezinski, you actually think about his personality before you think of him as a player. And I do think AJ Brzezinski, Kyle Teal doesn't have AJ's personality the same. He doesn't have the same personality. But I do think Kyle Teal's going to be one of the guys who will be defining the culture of the next White Sox team that contends. He's got that kind of leadership. He's got that kind of personality. He draws people to him. We had him on our podcast at MLB Pipeline, I guess maybe back in January after the trade. I happened to be talking to the Red Sox that day. They're like, ask him about his DJ skills. Kyle loves to, I'm serious. You'll have to ask him. I don't know if you've had Kyle on the podcast yet. Kyle loves to DJ. He started doing this with Team USA. And he likes to play music. I'm telling you, I really think that Kyle Teal, we'll talk about Bray Montgomery, but those two guys will be the guys who kind of set the locker room culture. And that's not what the White Sox trade for them because they're good players. Yeah. But I think that was at least a partial consideration that these two guys can kind of be the backbone of future Sox.
James Fegan, we need Kyle Teal's Spotify playlist. We need his DJ playlist for the 2025 season. We'll share it. We can all jam with Kyle Teal for this upcoming year.
So you got to get Kyle Teal here next year. He'll play.
There we go.
He'll DJ while you're not interviewing.
Yes, the White Sox will love that. Our opening day catcher out until 11 o'clock at night because he's DJing
at a bar
at the Ramova Theater.
This place close to the ballpark, so he can just go out and sleep in the locker room.
He can just sleep here and just walk down to the stadium in the morning. It's spring spring training, you mentioned Brady Montgomery. You got a chance to chat with Brady Montgomery. And if you guys haven't got an opportunity to watch that video, you go to MLB.com and watch Jim's interview with Brady Montgomery. We got a chance to talk to Braden here at Sox Fest. If you're looking for personality, someone that's really excited, I became a fan of Braden talking to him here at Sox Fest. I think he's got a great personality, and if he hits 30 homers this year in the minor leagues, I think that's a lot to get excited about because I think he's got the personality to definitely be a star player here in Chicago. What are your thoughts about Brady Montgomery? Because I'm not trying to put him at such a high bar that he can't clear, Jim. This is his first professional season because he missed last year with the injury.
Yeah, I mean, Brady Montgomery's a guy who, before he got hurt, he broke his ankle sliding in the Super Regionals. Before he got hurt, if Nick Kurtz wasn't there for the A's in number 4, I think he would have gone 4th in the draft.
Wow. Okay.
And again, the White Sox still might have taken Hagen Smith because I think some members of the front office want a pitcher. But Brady Montgomery was in the mix at 5. He was being talked about, that top group of what was 7 players. It was really 8 before he broke his ankle. But no, I mean, he kind of fits the classic right field profile. He's big-time power. He's a switch hitter. He's much better from the left side of the plate. So there's some question. Scouts will ask, should he hit only left-handed? Now, he's just started his pro career, so White Sox aren't going to say, hey, stop switch hitting. But that's kind of something to monitor. But no, he does have 30-homer potential. Big arm. He was a pitcher in college a little bit, but clearly became better as a hitter, and that became his focus. But up to 96 on the mound, so it's a classic right field profile. And you're right about his personality. And we had him on our podcast last year before he got hurt, middle of the season at A&M. And one of the guys on our podcast works out of our office in New York. And it's always a problem trying to find a room he can podcast from. You have to sign up, but sometimes people steal your room.
Yeah.
And so I think we had to make Braden wait 20 minutes to do the podcast. He was just extremely gracious, not worried about it. And one of the White Sox guys was telling me in spring training that they've noticed him, he'll clean the dugout. He'll, literally pick up some debris from the dugout. And somebody said something to him about it. He's like, oh, everybody, just doing my part.
Yeah.
He's so down to earth. And, he'd be, if we're picking prospect most likely to be at this event next year, if you could get a prospect.
Yeah.
I think Brady Montgomery would be my prospect most likely to be here.
What's that timeline, though, for Brady? Are we talking a couple of years? Are we talking 2027, 2028?
Yeah, I mean, he didn't play all last year. I'd say it's probably at the earliest, mid to late 2026.
Okay.
He's really good. We'll see, how the hitting from the right side of the plate goes. Where do we think he's starting the year?
He's starting the year at Indianapolis.
Yeah, he'll probably tear that up, but it's good. I'd start him lower, let him tear it up and advance it. But it wouldn't shock me if he was in AA by the end of this year, and then gets to AAA and maybe the big leagues next year.
Yeah, because the future outlook for Brady Montgomery, White Sox fans, the last right fielder to be better than 2 WAR. Anyone know?
Jermaine Dye.
Not that long ago, Jim. Damn. Jermaine Dye last week. It's Avi. Yes, Avisail Garcia. All-Star Avi, 2017. It's been 8 damn years since an average right fielder played for the Chicago White Sox. So fingers crossed with Brady Montgomery again. I'm a big fan, and hopefully he does tear it up in the minor leagues this year. I have to ask you about Grant Taylor. I was skeptical when the White Sox drafted him in the 2nd round because of the injuries at LSU. Enticing, but can he stay healthy? Boy, everyone is raving about Grant Taylor. All of the publications and media people that have watched the White Sox this year at spring training that got a chance to see Grant Taylor, they are hyped about Grant Taylor. I know he's outside the top 100, but what do you make of Grant Taylor? What are you hearing about people talking about Grant Taylor?
Yeah, so it's funny. I feel like the legend of Grant Taylor's almost got a little bit out of hand. Just from the standpoint, so he was at LSU in the fall of 22, the year before they going into their national championship season. And he looked great. But you'll get people be like, he was better than Paul Skeens, because Paul Skeens had arrived at Baton Rouge. And I'm telling you, I talked to a bunch of scouts softball practice. He was not better than Paul Skeens. I had guys telling me, Paul Skeens may be the best pitcher I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So he was not Paul Skeens. That's ludicrous. But people will try to throw that out there. Don't listen to that. But he was very good. He was looking like he was going to be a first-round pick if he hadn't gotten hurt. And it's amazing they still won the national championship, even though he missed the entire season. So the way I liked it being taken the second round. They did the same thing with Payne Follett with less success.
Yes.
I don't know if it's less success today, but like Grant Taylor's ranked ahead of him. They did the same thing with Payne Follett the year before out of Arkansas, who looked like a first-round pick before he blew out. And it was only Tommy John surgery, so you feel pretty good about him coming back from that rather than, say, a shoulder injury. And it's funny, like the hype was almost a little out of control. And so he came out, like he didn't pitch in 23 when they drafted him. Last year, he pitched A-ball, and I think it was like a 31-2 strikeout to walk ratio. Then he strained his lat, and they shut him down just to be safe. Okay, I get that. Like again, they were on the midway to lose 121 games. You don't need to rush Grant Taylor. Let's take it easy. So I was at his first fall week start. I was really excited. See Grant Taylor. This would be an easy story to write. It's his first start since May.
Yeah.
This guy's really good. He's not super hyped because nobody really knows who he is. First inning. He struck out the side. He's sitting 98, 99. I'm like, it could be a real easy story to write.
Yeah.
So, second inning, he comes out. He's still throwing hard, but it's like, fastball's really good, slider's really good, cutter's really good. All those are very good pitches. Curveball, changeup. He doesn't really throw a changeup. Second inning, we're going to work in the curveball and changeup. So, the problem is, he gives up a double on the curveball, gives up, I think, a homer on the changeup, or I might have gotten those backwards. Strikes out a guy in between. Then he walks a couple guys, then he throws a wild pitch or something, so it's second and third. Guy chops the ball down the third base line. He's got the runner hung out to dry. He's like standing 15 feet from him, and he turns and throws the ball down the right field line. And so I was like, okay, the stuff's really good, but like Grant's not, like it's not polished. You know, like again, this spring training, he's throwing 101. I think he struck out the side against the Dodgers. He threw out 6 in 2 innings, whatever it was. He's going to need some time. He barely has pitched. He doesn't have polish. It'll be interesting because, I mean, to me, he's clearly the number 7 prospect. Like, that's easy when you're ranking these guys. He's easily their best non-top 100 guy. There is a good deal of reliever risk. He might just be a guy who throws hard, and the control, like, his control was a little shaky at LSU when he pitched before he got hurt. It was better in the Cape Cod League. But everything's power. So he's really interesting, but there's work to do with Grant Taylor also.
Yeah, I like that you bring up the reliever risk because if I had to make a guess now with Grant Taylor, I could see him being the White Sox closer in 2027. Like, in a way, he reminds me of Michael Kopech. Kopech could go out there and be dominant and be like, oh yes, he is our ace, let's go. The next game, he can't even get out of the third inning because he's on 80 pitches. Like, I have a feeling that Grant Taylor's got the same kind of profile. Is that a fair comment?
Yeah, I hadn't really thought about it that way, but I think it's very fair. They're guys who are on the upper echelon of like how hard they can throw and they can overpower you with a slider, but you aren't sure, like, can he do it consistently enough to be a starter? I think that's very good.
So Grant Taylor is now part of the Birmingham Barons rotation. So Birmingham is going to have Hagen Smith, Noah Schultz, and Grant Taylor to start the year in the rotation. Jim Margulis will be there for the opening weekend, covering that for us at Sox Machine. So you can definitely check out his reports when he sees all three. What a nice little treat for the Birmingham Barons. Suck for a decade, win a championship, and now you get the 3 best pitching prospects for the White Sox this upcoming season. Birmingham! Roll Tide, kind of, close. Tuscaloosa's not that far away. Looking at the top 10 prospects, bringing it to the Major League season, Jim. How many of these guys are we going to see? Like Colson Montgomery, Chase Meitroff, I'm assuming Kyle Teal. I don't know what to make of Edgar Kara. Like, is Edgar Kara like an Alejandro Kirk? Like, is he a future DH that could sometimes catch?
I think Kurt's got pretty good hands on the plate. Like, Kurt's a pretty good framer. Like, yeah, I mean, Kara's an offensive-minded catcher. I think he's a comparable hitter to Kyle Teal. He probably has a little less power than Kyle Teal. He might be... Talking to the White Sox, I think they feel like Kara has more experience behind the plate and might be a little bit more refined catcher today. him by like maybe Kyle Teal could be a 50-55 defender, and Caro's a 45-50 defender on the 28 scouting scale. But the thing is, catching's changed. The days of, I guess Salvi Perez did it for a while. Guys don't catch 130 games, 140 games a year anymore. Right. And both Teal and Caro are gifted enough hitters that if you had, say, a timeshare where they catch, maybe they both catch 80 games or so, and then Caro plays 10 games at first and 20 at DH, and Teal plays a little DH in the outfield, that's fine, because they both can hit. And it keeps them healthier, and it's less wear and tear, and they produce more offensively. So I think you're going to see, not necessarily this year, but I think eventually you're going to see some kind of timeshare where you have two starting caliber catchers, and they'll both play 120, 130 games while splitting time behind the plate.
So out of all the White Sox prospects, this will be my last question to Jim, because we got to let him go. He was at Marquee Network earlier today. He's been in Chicago in the city all day. It's been great to have him here. Out of all the White Sox prospects, which are you most excited to see and how they fare in 2025, Jim?
I'll tell you the guy I'm most interested in.
Okay, most interested.
George Walkow fascinates.
Yes, George Walkow, number 10. You can't see it.
It's like, I don't have it, he's what, 6'7", what do we have, George?
Did he grow? I felt like he grew another inch. 6'7", 6'8" now?
6'7", 239, from Downers Grove. Reclassified, so he should have been coming out of the draft last year.
Right.
And this guy, like, the variance on him, he has the biggest gap between ceiling and floor and anybody in the system. Huge strikeout rate last year, which should have been a senior in high school. But he still, I want to say he had 11 home runs in low A.
Yeah.
But he should have been a senior in high school. And again, this is not, we're like Noah Schultz, Randy Johnson. We're not making this up. But if you look at George Walkow, I had guys tell me, that's kind of what Aaron Judge looked like in high school. Like, I'm not saying he's going to be Aaron Judge. But, you know, he's a 6'7", huge guy who's more athletic than you think a guy that size would be. And he's got tremendous raw power. Now, again, I'm not saying he's going to develop into Aaron Judge. And I'm not going to say he's better at the same age. Like Aaron Judge was a senior, and then he went to Fresno State. But if you told me George Walkow one day gets 40 home runs in the big leagues this season, I'd be like, that's possible. And if you told me George Walkow might strike out 200 times in AAA and not do ever do much in the big leagues, that's possible too. So I think he's the guy I'm most curious about, because his strikeout rate while it was high, and I forget, it went up at like 35%.
It's up there, yeah.
But it went down over the course of the year. So you can talk yourself into he made some adjustments. And again, he should have been a senior in high school rather than playing, not just in rookie ball, in A-ball.
Right.
So I think the White Sox are going to bring slug. I don't think they're going to see him in Birmingham by the end of the season. But he fascinates me just because of that variance of it can be 40 homers or he can strike out a million times and not make it.
Is he the best power bat in the system for the White Sox?
He's the best raw power. Like, if I was picking a guy to win a home run derby, especially at his physical peak, it would be George Walkow. Like, if you're factoring in, like it's interesting because you have Colson Montgomery and Braden Montgomery.
Yep.
Like, I think Colson Montgomery probably has a little more power than Braden Montgomery. Braden Montgomery, maybe I feel slightly better about hitting. So, like, if you were talking musical power, I would pick one of them.
Okay.
But raw power, I'd go with George.
All right.
George is only 18. Like, if we let George have another 3 years to get stronger, he's going to have even more raw power.
So you heard it here. The White Sox have the next Randy Johnson and the Aaron Judge
That's right.
with the White Sox farm system. That's what Jim Callis is calling. Jim, thank you so much for coming to Ramova, to the South Side. We really appreciate it. Jim Callis, and then when we let you out, we can check out.
I just want to say real quick, I hope, and I think they do realize how fortunate they are to have Sox Machine, because most teams don't have a podcast that does the in-depth job you guys do of reporting on every aspect. And whenever I'm a guest, I've probably been on this podcast
11 years.
20 times, more, maybe 30 times.
A lot.
But every time, I always mark, Josh always asks really good questions. It's not just, okay, who's the White Sox number one prospect? He's not like, it's very detailed questions, and they're good. And then what usually happens is he'll be like, can I get you for half an hour on Like, I don't think many teams have a site that covers, a podcast that covers a team as well as you guys do.
We really appreciate the kind words. You can listen to Jim on their podcast along with Jonathan Mayo and MLB Pipeline. You can check out that podcast on Spotify and Apple. July 13th, circle that date. That is the Major League Baseball draft. You'll be able to watch Jim on MLB Network. There's a ton of MLB draft stuff coming as well. Lots of things to update as the White Sox have the 10th overall pick as it leads to the All-Star break. Jim, as always, thank you so much for coming. Jim Callis. All right. Well, I hope that was informative. I hope you enjoyed the prospect coverage and looking forward to who will be joining the White Sox this year. Or if the White Sox start 0-20 and you're like, how are the Charlotte Knights doing? You know, some players to be looking forward to. Also Birmingham. But our next guest, really excited to introduce her because she stole the show last year. You can listen to her baseball isn't boring. She is one of the most entertaining social media followers, especially on Twitter. Ladies and gentlemen, Courtney Finnicum. There you go, yeah. We have to John Mayer the microphone.
Thank you for that picture, by the way. That is a Courtney approved picture. Thank you.
Yes,
Appreciate that.
I don't know what you were leaning on. I was trying to find an object. Usually I leave that up to my Sox Summer to figure that out for me, but yeah, it's just an invisible railing. But Courtney, thank you so much for coming.
Josh, it is always a pleasure to be in your presence.
Oh, let's not get carried away. I do want, if you just love baseball in general, Courtney this week has a great interview with Dylan Cease, old friend Dylan Cease.
Old friend Dylan Cease. And I gotta tell you, the podcast episode is called The Most Interesting Man in Baseball because he really is fascinating. We talk about all of his interests. Great guest. Very happy to have him on.
I don't know how long he's going to stay in San Diego.
Same.
But again, listen, check out that podcast, Old Friend. I expect him to have a great season. But on your podcast, you got a chance to visit spring training. The Terry Francona episode is excellent as well.
Thank you.
That podcast sold me. If you're part of the Sock Machine Fantasy Baseball League, I've mentioned this. I am all in on the Reds this year because of Terry Francona.
So am I.
But you stopped at White Sox camp, and he's not the opening day starter, but the dart, Davis Martin.
Yep.
What are your thoughts after sitting down with Davis Martin coming into this season?
So Davis Martin is my dark horse in that rotation. He had some nice starts last year coming off the Tommy John. One thing that I like about him, he has a lot of confidence. He has a lot of confidence going into 2025. And I feel like with we have very few major league experience guys.
Yes.
Which is kind of funny to say, but he's one of the few. So I was a little surprised they went with the Sean Burke choice and not Davis Martin because he did have a great spring. He did earn it. He has been here. I think that was a little bit of a mistake on the Sox part.
Oh, interesting. A hot take right off the bat. Courtney doesn't like the opening day starter choice.
I mean,
for the
okay,
White Sox.
I don't want to say I don't like it because that's going to come back and haunt me. Wait, throws in a hitter tomorrow. Bullshit. Bullshit. But I thought Davis Martin got screwed a little bit.
That is what I'm hearing, though. No, I think Davis Martin only allowed one run.
One run.
During spring training. He looks great. We need to sell him on the dart, though. He's lukewarm on the nickname. We got to get him on the dart. Like, he's got to buy into it. I would give this task to James Fegan, but he's done a terrible job selling the nickname to him. So we need, don't wave me off. We need all of us on social media, hit up Davis Martin and get the dart to stick.
One thing I like about Davis Martin, we hit off right away. He's a diehard Eagles fan.
Diehard Eagles fan?
Diehard Eagles fan.
Wow.
He actually said he would name his firstborn Shake Lock. So the first 2 minutes of the interview, all we did was shit talk the Chiefs. It was tremendous.
Saquon Martin.
That's it.
Obviously, the biggest addition this offseason for the White Sox is at manager with Will Venable. Jim, James, and I were all in Dallas during the winter meetings. Thank you guys so much for your support to making that happen. machine, Courtney, how do you think he fares with the White Sox?
So I did have Will on Baseball Isn't Boring as well as soon as he got hired. One thing that has stood out to me about Will, not a lot of bullshit, not a lot of smoke. Page Over Full was all about the buzzwords, all about the bullshit. And that's the truth. He was all about the buzzwords. Will is very cerebral, he's very intelligent. He's okay to admit when he doesn't know something about the team. I love that. And he has told me verbatim his favorite word is accountability. We have not had that on the Sox in a very long time. So I am interested to see how he actually puts that into play.
Yeah, because that was going to be my follow-up question, Courtney. What does accountability look like for the 2025 White Sox, especially early on? Because the guys that are on the opening day roster, and we'll talk about it later in the show, and James reports what he has heard is on the opening day roster for the White Sox. There's a lot of guys that look at that list and like, they're not going to be here at Memorial Day. So what does accountability look like in the first couple of months?
To me, if there's a lack of hustle, that's an accountability issue.
Like you get benched.
You get benched.
You go back to the Rick Renteria, I pull you out of the game.
Bingo.
Okay.
That's the kind of shit I want to see. I want to see good defense. If you're not playing good defense, you're on the bench. Stuff like that will show me that he has control of the clubhouse.
Because what drove me crazy was like your fall would say he had accountability, but only on the rookies.
Correct.
Whereas like Andrew Benintendi is drowning. But you know what, let's keep batting him third.
Correct.
Maybe he'll break out. And he eventually did in the second half, but by then Gerfal's fired, and it's Grady Sizemore as the manager. So that's where I'm kind of wondering, Courtney, how is accountability going to work with the veterans? Because I imagine Will will want to kind of lean on those guys for stability.
Well, because there's so few veterans, as we discussed. But Will actually, unlike before, he has worked under some incredible names.
Yes.
You know, we can call out Theo Epstein. He's worked with Theo. He's worked with Bruce Bochy, Joe Madden. I mean, these are accomplished baseball.
Not Mike Matheny.
Thank you.
Matheny doesn't count.
I wish he did, but he does not. He certainly does not. But one thing that I like about Will that stood out to me, and his eyes lit up when I asked him about his father. His father was a former player, and Will would be in the clubhouse with his dad all the time. So he saw tough conversations. He saw good conversations. And he called that out in the interview of how that made him who he is today. So I think he's willing to hold players accountable for that.
Do you think he's got the, what is that, fire and passion to get himself ejected if things get really bad? Like if the White Sox are 0-12, the White Sox fans are like, we got to see more passion, more fire, Will.
That is one thing that I'm holding my breath on. I don't know if he's an MF kind of guy, like an Aaron Boone. I'm holding on to hope for that because that would be good.
That would be fun.
Yes.
Let's talk about some White Sox predictions for this upcoming season. More hot takes coming from Courtney, I imagine.
Of course.
Let's start with position player. Who do you think at the end of this season, when we recap the 2025 White Sox, will be the best position player for the 2025 White Sox?
So if we were talking a year ago and you asked me this, I would never say this guy's name. But I'm going to throw out Andrew Benintendi.
Andrew Benintendi?
Andrew Benintendi. Oh my God, I'm hearing boos. Boos and hisses.
Yeah, right. We don't have a lot of Benintendi fans here.
Was that boo orange or boo? Oh my God.
Why Andrew Benintendi?
Well, okay, I was very hard on him first part of the year, as we all were. He did turn it on the second half of the year. He's a veteran presence. Again, I keep harping on that, but I think that makes a difference on this team. And he seems refocused. You know, I know he had the hand injury, but I'm holding out hope that he can kind of make this team his own and step up when he needs to. I'm going to be regretting this entire
Okay,
season.
no.
You're going to be texting me like, Courtney, you fucked up. You're going to be doing that.
Deep fly ball to left field and Benintendi face plants and he's out. It's a 2. You're like, way to go,
Oh
Courtney.
boy, I'm all about accountability. I will be accountable if that happens.
All right. Now I'm scared to ask this next one. Pitcher. Who's going to be the best pitcher for the 2025 White Sox?
I'm going with
starts in the first half because he can get traded.
And I expect everyone to apologize to me when Benintendi's the guy moving forward. That's it.
We just talked a lot about White Sox prospects with Jim Callis. Out of all the White Sox prospects, Courtney, who are you most looking forward to see in Chicago this season?
I'm a big fan of Kyle Teal.
Okay.
Yes, big fan of Kyle Teal. I think Kyle Teal earned the right to break camp with the team. That's my hot take. I think he should be up here tomorrow.
So if you did make the team, who would have not made the team as catcher?
See, that's where I go back and work on. Probably Corey Lee.
Okay.
I'm going to be on that out.
So you would replace Corey Lee with Kyle Teal.
Probably would have.
Okay.
And the reason I like Kyle Teal, power and speed. I interviewed Kyle Teal right here at Sox Fest. He told me his goal, 20 bags, 20 stolen bases.
For a catcher.
That's correct.
I need Chris Kamka. What was the last catcher to hit 20 homers and steal 20 bags?
I mean, I'm telling you.
Craig Biggio? Way back in the day?
But that is his goal. I have it on record. 20 stolen bases.
Okay. Well, I mean, Corey Lee's fast.
He is. So I'm kind of, I don't need to shit on Corey Lee because I actually do like him, but
You want to send him to Charlotte?
I do. I literally want to send him to Charlotte right now, yes.
All right, so Kyle Teal for the prospect that you're most excited for. Breakout performance. So who is someone we are not talking a lot about this offseason and even spring training, Courtney, that you think could surprise us in a good way, not a bad way,
A good way.
but surprise us in a good way?
I am pulling two names out of the hat here. Penn Murphy, Cam Boozer.
Pat Murphy, Murph Dog.
That's right.
I predicted him to lead the White Sox in saves this year
Oh my God.
with 6.
Six.
Six
I have
saves.
high expectations there.
Do you think he hit 10? Why Pat Murphy?
Great spring. Honestly, the bullpen was a major issue last year. What I like about these two particular guys, major league experience. Penn Murphy had 2 good years in Seattle. Really one solid good year in Seattle. I like his spring. I like that he pitched well in Arizona. I made fun of his name when he first was announced. 'Cause I'm like, Penn Murphy, that's not a real human. There's no way. But he is a real human. And I just like the fact that he pitched well in Arizona, has that experience, and we need as much bullpen arm as we have, as we can get. You know, that was a major Achilles heel last year. So
I mean, I made a lot of money post-fifth inning live bets against the White Sox. I am not ashamed.
and you shouldn't be.
I'm not ashamed. Things got weird. Do you have Pat Murphy as the closer? Mike Clevenger did make the team.
I think they're going with Clevenger to start as a closer. I agree, believe me. That should get more booze. That should get way more booze than Benintendi. Yeah, I'm going with Clevenger as the closer to start. We'll see how that goes. I agree, believe me.
So we have a little time here because I have a special segment planned for Courtney
Oh.
because of a tweet she sent out. So I just want to buy some time to make sure that everything gets set up before we get started. But for this opening weekend against the Angels, weather pending. The weather this weekend doesn't look all that great. It looks a little wet. Friday's going to be the most beautiful day, 75 and sunny.
It's incredible. Never fails.
No game.
Never fails.
How do you think this opening series is going to go for the White Sox against the Angels? And old friend Tim Anderson did make the Angels.
Well, yes. That's for Tim. Seriously. Congratulations, Tim Anderson. Yes. You know, I'm very happy for Tim. I've been telling people that Tim Anderson and Yohan Moncada. Tim Anderson was, to me, the most obvious breakthrough compared to Moncada. I mean, you know what? The Angels and Sox, they have a lot of similarities in case you haven't noticed.
Not great for the Angels.
Correct. They got a lot of our retreads.
Angeles Angels.
Why?
I am rooting for their demise this opening weekend. If they suffer 7 injuries, great. 20 base runners and 2 damn runs? I lost a $500 stake bet because of that damn team.
That's right.
Anyways.
That's right.
Anyways.
I was out with Beefo right before spring training, and I said to him, Luis Robert would be traded before spring training ended.
Okay.
But with all the injuries, I don't think they had any choice but to bring him north. So I'm hoping he stays healthy, and he's the hottest ticket on the deadline.
Okay.
I'm going with the
So
deadline.
all the way to July 30th, I believe, is the deadline.
Knocking on wood because
Knocking on wood.
Knocking on wood.
Knock on the floor.
Knock on your head.
He stays healthy. There are no injuries.
Yes.
All right. Maybe he can wave. Is Kevin Hickey in attendance?
Kevin Hickey.
Attention, Kevin Hickey.
Yes, chef.
Is he here? He is here. Okay. The reason why I'm calling him out, there was this tweet that went viral. So Courtney tweeting, still waiting for the White Sox to listen to me about opening up a brunch concession stand. What a genius idea.
Thank you, and they still haven't done it. To make it make sense, this is money.
Bloody Marys, mimosas, French toast sticks, all of that.
Mini mimosas. Hello, mini mimosa.
Come food day, no brunch menu.
Nice to see you. Good
No brunch food for the White Sox.
Terrible.
So
Missed opportunity.
what I did though was present the challenge to executive chef and fellow Southsider Kevin Hickey of 2 great restaurants in the neighborhood, the Dunkin' and Ramova Grill.
Best restaurant on the south side.
Talk about brunch at the ballpark. But with him, Kevin, with you being a Southsider, and I went to the Dunkin' on Monday. They do Burger Mondays, which you have to go. You have to go Monday nights to the Dunkin' for the Innovation Burger. It was fantastic this year, as they're getting everything set up here. But you have been a Southsider for a long time, Kevin. You told me you have a great Bill Vex story.
Yeah.
So lay it on to us.
It's not. You built it up. I'm old enough to have spent a lot of time in showers as a child.
Showers, okay.
Showers pump down the road, and Bill Vex used to be there quite often. And my father used to tell me to go over to him and kick him in the leg as hard as I could. So I would go and I would kick him and kick him and kick him and just go back to my parents and be like, the man's like a robot. He doesn't even flinch when I could. Sometimes he didn't even look at me. And I think I was 35 when I found out he had a wooden leg. See, he was a war veteran, right?
Yes. All right. So baseball brunch. Lay it on us, Chef
We've got
Hickey.
lots of great brunch going on in Bridgeport. We've got lots of options between the Ramova Grill. We have some awesome stuff. We're going to bring some stuff out for you guys to taste. We've got biscuits and chili instead of biscuits and gravy. We've got a really great breakfast sandwich. We've got chilaquiles. We've got the Southside breakfast that has Polish sausage and
Putting the mic down here.
there's the biscuits and chili. There's the chilaquiles. We've got some sandwiches coming out. Over at the Dunkin', we have lots of great stuff as well. We've got a Spam sandwich with fried egg and Gruyere. We've got, of course, our famous duck fat hot dog. You can also get the duck fat hot dog here as a corn dog. Lots of great options. There's the biscuit, sausage house made, pork sausage by Chef Becky downstairs. So lots of great opportunities for brunch. We open up at 11 a.m. here at Ramova Grill, 10:30 over at the Duck Inn, and both Saturday and Sunday at both locations.
What do you think about having a brunch concession stand at White Sox games? Do you think it can work?
I think it would only work if I was running.
Oh, there you go.
Otherwise, it'll be an abject failure.
What would be on the menu? I mean, so honestly, Sunday, everyone's hungover, going to that game. Like, I'm looking at these chilaquiles. 4th inning, Chirizi's walking down with his 32-ounce Bloody Mary and his chilaquiles, sitting down the best members because I know they're both here. They are huge fans of brunch. Not that I don't like brunch, but they love brunch. So from the 108, I'd like to invite Courtney and Mrs. Beefloaf to come up here to give their opinions on the brunch items.
Girls who brunch.
Yes, girls are brunch. So which one are you trying first?
Okay, so what?
That's the biscuit sausage roll sandwich.
Okay.
And you have the chili fillets here. And we got the biscuit chili over there. You got the biscuit.
Egg sandwich all day. Egg sandwich all day. Because, you know, some days we usually go to More Than Dogs, but I don't know if we're going to get More Than Dogs outside the stadium these days. So egg sandwich with a little bit of that sausage or whatever that is, because that looks amazing.
That's a homemade pork sausage.
Pork sausage. Come on now.
Yeah, the breakfast sandwich
So
you can't get brunch at the stadium, but you get brunch from Chef Hickey, either at the Dunkin' or Ramova. Chef Hickey, this is awesome. We have plates up here, so you guys want to try some of the brunch that we provided. But thank you so much. And huge thank you to Courtney Finnicum as well. Baseball is boring.
Thank you.
Again, she stole the show last year. You can check out her podcast, Pitch and Moan. Follow her on Instagram. Follow her on Twitter. She'll continue the hot takes again. Andrew Benintendi on the table.
That's my guy. Let's go. Let's ride.
Again, thank you so much to Courtney. Thank you to Chef Hickey.
That will do it for this episode of the Sox Machine Podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you just discovered the Sox Machine Podcast, you could listen to wherever you listen to podcasts on Spotify and Apple Music. You can also listen and watch the show on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Sox Machine. We're on all the social media platforms. You can follow us at Sox Machine. Follow James Fegan at JR Fegan. You can follow me at SoxMachine_Josh. We are on Blue Sky. You can follow us at SoxMachine.com on Blue Sky as we are verified over there. You can follow me at josh.soxmachine.com. Follow James at jrfegan.soxmachine.com on Blue Sky. If you enjoy our work and you want more from us as far as our coverage of the Chicago White Sox and Major League Baseball, go to SoxMachine.com and become a supporter today. Monthly plans start at $5. That gets you the ad-free version of both the podcast and the website. We have additional tiers of support. You get more, including some open spots in our Veterans Committee, which you'll be part of the group chat. Great time if you are interested in helping with Sox Machine, understanding a little bit what happens behind the curtain. Get direct access to James Fegan as well. So during this upcoming 2025 season, if you want all the whispers and gossip that he is hearing from the White Sox clubhouse, go ahead and apply to be part of the Sox Machine Veterans Committee today. The Sox Machine Podcast is a production of SoxMachine.com. You're on for all things Chicago White Sox baseball and part of the Blue Wire Podcast Network. I'm Josh Nelson. Thanks for listening and watching.